And this font is going to be the font for our logo right here. So you guys don't have to use the same font I'm using. You can use whichever one you want, as long as it's different from the one we have, or the one you have. I'm going to search up this cursive looking font called Patea. Click that and then select this style. Alright, so let's look over here to the right. I think that's all the fonts I want. Over here to the right is a way for us to put this font, or to use this font in our code. So what we want to do is we want to highlight this stuff right here in the top box and copy it. This stuff is going to go in between our head tags because these are our links. I think it even says, yep, here it is. It says, to embed a font, copy the code into the head of your HTML. So we're just going to come here and you can just, let's just paste it above. Actually, let's just paste it below this link right here. Link for our CSS, we're just going to paste it here. So now we've established the connection. Now we can go back to Google Fonts and we look here. It says CSS rules to specify families. So these are the families that you have to type out in your CSS if you want to use that specific font. So let's go back to VS Code and let's actually use them. So the body is going to be like this. So we're going to type in body. Actually, first off, has everyone added their links to their HTML from Google Fonts? Add those links here before we start doing anything with our CSS.
Don't everybody answer at once now.
The link goes in line 9, right?
It doesn't matter. You may have a different one. You just want to make sure it's. You can just put it below the link to your style sheet. Yeah, so if your stuff looks like this, just click right next to the link to your style sheet, hit enter, then just paste the links from Google Fonts. Yeah, I can go over it again. Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Yeah, I can go over it again. Element. Alright, nice. Okay, so let's say, Melanie, you have a font that you like. So I found this font. I'm just gonna click this button here. It says select this style. And you're supposed to find another font. So 2 fonts. So I'm going to use Poppins. Then I'm just going to click on select this style. And to the right, you should see this little area. And this box contains the links you need to add to your code. You need to highlight those links, copy them, go back to VS Code, and you need to paste them below your CSS. So, say for instance your stuff looks like this, just hit enter, and you should have your Google font links already copied, so just paste it right here.
Can you explain to us what's the difference between link and import?
So, Okay, so it seems like the difference between the two is like if you're doing the CSS or using the styles inside your HTML. Rather than doing it outside of it like we're doing in this project. That's my guess. I haven't really
Yes.
dealt with it before, so.
Oh, I was thinking import more like download. You know, from old school, we just downloaded them. Oh, so that's inline then. One is to the style sheet, and the other one's to the inline.
Yeah, looks like.
Yeah, so with CSS, the way to have it go to 300 different web pages, you have the CSS different, but separate. I'm sorry, but a lot of people just want one page changed, so they'll put the CS in there. So whatever bottom CSS is, whatever CSS is last is the one that it uses. So even if you do have a separate CSS, but you have a different one inside your head, another inline CSS as we call it, then it will use that one for that particular page. All the rest of them will follow the one that's at top.
So does everyone have their links now? I know Alan has his. Melanie, Noelia. The thing is, all my elements that display some sort of text to the screen, all my body elements are going to have the font family of Poppins. And for some reason it can't load this font depending on like a browser version or something like that. It's got to load up sans serif. That's why there's a comma sans serif here. This is the backup font if Poppins isn't supported or something. Alright, next. Let's type in H1 and our braces. So, what we're doing right now is we're adding like some global styles to this. And then we'll get like a little more specific as we go down the line. Global styles just means styles that like apply to like your basic tags. So like your H1s, your body tags, stuff like that. So in H1 we're gonna do a font size, the default font size of 2.6 rem. And we're going to select multiple elements here. So to do that, we're going to do li, comma, button, comma, label, comma, input, comma, and then p. So we have 5 selectors here. Then next, we're just going to add our braces and enter. So all 5 of these selectors are going to share the same style. All going to have a font size default, of course, of 2 rem. going to do something for H2. We're going to do H2 font size. Next is, and if I'm going too fast, guys, or if like you like have a question about something, you know, just type it in chat. Let me know. Alright, next is H4 and comma H5.
Which one of your HTML you have H4 on?
This one apparently.
Where? Oh, no, I'm saying on the HTML.
Oh, not yet though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gonna be a font size of 2.8 ref. Next, gonna change the styles for our anchor tags. I'm gonna do the A, and gonna be color of white. You're gonna have a text decoration of none. And you can tell what that looks like by looking at these right here. See, these links have text color white, and they have no underline, which means they have no text decoration. And they're invisible right now on the actual web page that we're making because they're white. But before we add the stuff, the CSS for the buttons, let's change up the main head so it's actually visible and like it looks somewhat like the finished product. So below this stuff, I'm just gonna put a reminder. Add button CSS here. You guys don't have to type that. So, in order to make this navigation actually look like a navigation, we're gonna reference this class that we made inside of our HTML, the main head. So to do that, we type in dot main dash head. And we're gonna add a background color. Of this like dark blue color. So we're gonna add a hashtag 27, not 27, sorry. 131C 27. So this is what we call a hexadecimal value, and it just translates to some color on the color wheel, color palette. We're going to set the color to be white. The text is going to be white, anything inside the main head. Position is going to be sticky. So what this means is whenever we scroll, whenever we can't scroll, whenever this thing is ready and we want to scroll down, this navigation is going to stay there in this spot so we can actually use it whenever we need to. And top is going to be 0 pixels, so it's going to be 0 pixels away from the top. And that's basically it. Well, let's just do let's just see on this part. So Z index gonna be 3. And feel free to like leave notes on this, guys. So if I like go over like what something means, you can just say like this means this, yada yada yada, and then do Control / to turn it into a comment. And this is basically just gonna be like a note you can leave for yourself. But anyway, the Z index is, it brings whatever you add your Z index to, it brings it forward so stuff can go under it. So let's say, for instance, if this stuff had a higher Z index than this navigation, then if I scroll down, this section would go over the navigation.
We don't believe you. Prove it.
Yeah, you guys like know like X and Y in school, right? So horizontal is the x-axis, Y is the vertical axis, and just think of Z as this axis that comes towards you, like it pops through your screen.
We don't believe you. Show us. Change the z-axis. Change it. By the way, it's depth. With height and depth. No, we don't believe you. Show us.
Alright, so let's see if we go to like the finish one here. Let's change the Z indexes, bro. Negative. So I just changed the Z index of this main head to -100. Just to make sure it was like at the very
bottom.
Yeah.
It's in the canyon.
I scroll, you see that how this section goes over navigation.
Okay, I believe you now.
I just put it back. Alright, I know it's past 6:15, but we didn't finish it. Let's see. Let's finish one more thing up so we can make this look sort of like this. So let's go back to our CSS. And let's do a, type in Nav Selector navigation. Okay, so we're gonna add 2 CSS rules here. So the first one is gonna be for Nav. So the min height is gonna be by VH. And if you guys don't remember what VH is, VH just stands for viewport height. So this navigation is going to take up 5% of viewport height. Oh, in a minute it is. And we're going to add some padding of 2 rem. And we're going to use Flexbox to make this stuff be horizontal instead of vertical like this. So, or by default, whenever you add a flexbox to something, it's going to make it horizontal. Well, it's going to make these 2 things horizontal. The reason why it's like this, because these elements are separate. So, this entire thing right here is an unordered list. This right here is the H1. And right now they're just side by side from each other. In a second, we're going to make this stuff in the list be horizontal. Okay, the width of this navigation is going to be 90%. The reason it's gonna be 90% is because we're gonna center it. So let's say this is 90%. Then we'll have some space over here. It's gonna be 5%. I don't know what that is, but it's a 5%, trust me.
Just trust me, I say trust me.
That's a little, what I have represented here, that's a little more than 5%, but it's gonna be 5%. Margin is gonna be auto. What that means is CSS is gonna determine the margin for you based on like how close the other elements are. You're gonna have to align items center. And then Flexwrap is gonna be wrap. So what Flexwrap is, let's see if we can test it out here. Whenever our screen size gets too small, our text is going to wrap. Or my screen share was paused, but oh, okay, it's back.
Well, can we hear the rap?
I'm not too sure if I can do that. I'm retired.
I have the beat for you. Okay. Thought you said you was gonna rap.
Alright, so whenever the screen size gets too small, the text will wrap, meaning that it's gonna go below whatever element is right next to it. So you can see our unordered list is going below our H1. So that's what wrapping means.
So when you look at that on your computer, it's going to be straight cross. When you look at it on your phone, it's going to be in a list because it falls under each other.
We'll go over media queries later on, guys, which help us change our font size accordingly and like change the position of different things. So right now we have in a mobile version view, and our stuff is kind of changed. Our web page is kind of changed in order to fit the screen size and make it look, pretty decent. Okay. Last thing we're gonna add, that you guys can work on your own stuff for remaining 30 minutes of class. I promise this is the last thing.
Your promises means nothing.
We're gonna add a nav UL. So we're saying, I want you to find the navigation and then locate the unordered list inside of it and add these styles to it. We're gonna do display flex. So this is going to make our list horizontal now that we add a flex box to it. We're going to do list style none. This is going to get rid of those bullet points that were just here. And we're going to do flex 1, base 1, and then 40 rim. So what this means is, I could probably go into detail about this next time. So what this means is, our elements are going to have an equal amount of space. And right here, this value right here, basically this is like a 1-to-1 ratio, is what it means. This value right here is called the flex basis, and this is the max size that your element can be. until it wraps. Actually, I think it's minimum size. We'll go over this like in more detail next time. I just want to finish this up real quick. So, but that for now, just make sure you add it. And we're gonna do justified content, space around. And then align items. Enter. So our navigation should look something like this right now. Okay, then below this, we're gonna add hashtag logo. We're just gonna change our logo a bit. And let's do flex 1:40 rim. And this is gonna space out our logo from our links over here, just like in the finished version. And again, we'll go over like this whole property and like the technicalities of it next time. And we're gonna use that font, that other font family you have. So type in font family, and mine is Pateo, and my backup font is gonna be sans serif. And let's say this has a font weight of 400. Alright, so our navigation looks like that. Alright, so that is basically it. I'll leave this up here. You guys need to catch up with anything.